Welcome to my attic. My name is D.G. Valdron. I'm a writer. These are my books up here, and I'm going to talk about one of them today, the Bear Cavalry. So, what is the Bear Cavalry? Where does it come from? Well, here's the deal. Way back when, I started to notice these memes online, and it was all about, Bear Cavalry. It was like, if you've got the Bear Cavalry coming at you, you're boned. It's when bears are more awesome than horses. And of course, that seemed ridiculous and unlikely, so I am an alternate historian, and I'm kind of interested in the pathways that, plants get domesticated, animals get domesticated. I thought, well, could this have actually happened? And if so, how would it happen? And so I basically did a kind of alternate history timeline describing how bears would get picked up in Labrador, domesticated in Iceland. Eventually, they would learn to ride them. And eventually, the European feudal monarchies, or one of them, in Scandinavia, would adopt them as cavalry, as terrifying, awful cavalry that wreaked all kinds of havoc. And then I thought about it a little bit more. And I thought, wow, this would probably have a lot of influence on culture and history. Not fundamentally, but it would sort of become part of folklore and how we saw things. It would influence art. Okay, so I thought, wow, that's a really fun idea. It was a great opportunity to do research, learned a lot about bears, learned a lot about Iceland, and learned funny things. Did you know that Iceland basically passed a law prohibiting people from having bears as pets? There were no mammals in Iceland. How did they come about passing a law? Well, because they had polar bears showing up from time to time. And occasionally Vikings would, or, the Norse would grab a polar bear cub, try and race it. It gets old enough to start eating people. It becomes a bane on the neighborhood, so they passed a law. Weird thing. Or in early New York, under the Dutch regime when it was called New Amsterdam, did you know that bears were regularly eaten? In fact, the bear market was basically an actual bear market. It was a meat market. That was where they brought the wild food. So there was the bull market where they would sell cattle and beef and stuff like that. And then there was the bear market where hunters would bring in bears to be butchered. And, you could get cheap pork-like meat. A lot of fun little things like that. Anyway, so I did a lot of research, did a really interesting history, and then I thought, well, how do I make this kind of fun to read? And so the idea that I had was to make it a kind of mock documentary, to put it in, say, a documentary format where a Morgan Spurlock's type of documentary filmmaker would be doing this as a cultural history documentary, of the origin of the Bear Cavalry, how it came to be, what happened to it, and how does it affect art and popular culture today. And you know what? It was just a lot of fun. So, I'm doing this YouTube channel to pitch my books. Bear Cavalry is a small book, but it's quirky, it's interesting, and it's off the wall. And you'll learn a few things, including stories about Scandinavian royalty behaving very badly. And, history in a little forgotten part of the world. Check it out.